Hey guys, welcome to YS Khong Driving, and today we are in the latest Nissan Serena 2.0, the S-Hybrid. And we're going to do a fuel consumption test. And this fuel consumption test will be a little bit different because we're going to do a full tank to full tank test. And the first thing to do is, of course, to get the tank filled up to the brim. And here we are at the BHP station that we always use. Okay, the fuel tank is on the right. And here we go. Okay, begin filling. 95.
A few moments later.
One click. 2 clicks. 3 clicks. 4 clicks. Okay, 5 clicks. Okay, that's 5 times it click. It's full because you cannot see the fuel here because it's all sealed up. So you can't see the fuel level because it's a capless fuel filler. Okay, mustn't forget to upload the points by scanning the QR code here. Yes, your transaction has been duly recorded. Done. Good. Right guys, we are now leaving the BHP station after having refueled, and we are setting the meters at 0 and also the trip meter at 0, trip reset. And we are heading out. Okay, so here we go. And it's starting to rain, but it's okay. Right, so to run a full tank to full tank test, what we have done is we have filled the tank to full, and then we are going to go out on a drive, and when we come back, theoretically the distance that you covered will be filled up by the fuel that you put back into the tank. That is how you do the full tank to full tank method, and after that you calculate the fuel consumption to work out either kilometers per liter or liters per 100 kilometers. And these toll gates are actually very detrimental to fuel consumption because while we are waiting, we are consuming fuel while idling. So that's why you see we're already showing 12.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Okay, we are safely through the toll, and we're going to take the NKVE, then we're going to swing south to somewhere near Nilai before we make a U-turn and come back. Okay, so our driving style is going to be light-footed, and I'm putting it on Eco. Yes, there is an Eco mode which we have just activated, and we are following the traffic on to join the NKVE. Speed, we are going at 64. Now what I've also done is I have put a camera to shoot onto the instrument panel, and I slanted the camera slightly because the fuel consumption data as per the vehicle computer that shows 12.7 is on the left, and the speedometer, the odometer is at the bottom right in the center under the green Eco sign that shows we have gone 1.9 kilometers, and the speedometer is on the right, which is a digital speedometer. Okay, so that shows we are going at 68 kilometers per hour now. And now we are on the NKVE heading south, and we're going to join the Elite Highway to get to KLIA area, and then maybe we'll do a U-turn and come back from there. And we're going at about 67, 68 kilometers per hour, following the stream of traffic. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes, and everybody is going at this same speed. I'm going to move one lane to the right because we are not going to get stuck in the jam that comes out of Subang Jaya, and we're going to go on to Shah Alam before we take the Elite. So this fuel consumption is going to be very typical of what you call heavy traffic highway. Yeah, we will be going at not the full speed of the speed limit. The speed limit here I think is 110, and we are going at 78, 79, 80. Yes, this thing is picking up, so we can speed up. Yeah, so we'll try to hit the speed limit wherever we can. So 90, we are now going at 90, and we have done 3.8 kilometers. So the readings are going to be very, very inconsistent as of this moment. You can see now it shows 8.2 liters per 100, but it's not accurate at this moment because it's only done a very short distance. Okay, that's the distance warning to tell us we are going too close to the car in front, so I actually have to brake. Now this Nissan Serena that we are in is a 2-liter S-Hybrid. They call it S-Hybrid because it's got a system that's quite unique. There is basically an engine that's like normal engine. Then they have an additional belt that pulls a generator and a motor combined. Yeah. So when you are driving normally, what happens is this generator generates electricity and stores it in an auxiliary battery, and this battery is just an ordinary lead acid battery that you have in your car, so it's additional one. And when you're accelerating, then this generator turns into a motor, and it helps by putting in the current from the battery to help you accelerate. So it gives very, very small horsepower additional, but it seems to save fuel because many of the Serena S-Hybrid owners have sung praises about how economical their car is. So today we're going to check out what it actually can do under real world conditions. Now it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and on a Friday afternoon we are on the highway heading towards Khong. We're going to take the turn off to KLIA soon. And yes, we are hitting 94 kilometers per hour, 95. We're just keeping up with the flow of traffic, yeah. And already we are showing 7.4. Okay, what we're going to do is we have this electronic fuel consumption, which is calculated by the vehicle. And later, when we actually do the refueling, we will note the distance that we have traveled plus the amount of fuel that we have consumed, and from there we will work out the fuel consumption. That means actual measurement. So what you see on the meter is an indicator only, yeah? And we'll see if there's any variance. Okay, you also note that we use BHP station as our staging point and also as our fueling point. So this car basically runs BHP fuel. And why did I choose it, you might want to ask. Well, it's the very convenient location to my home, and I always pump there. Plus, they were one of the early ones. They came out with Euro 5 diesel, and my diesel truck loves to pump there. So in the early days, it was difficult to find Euro 5 diesel, but BHP was one of the early ones, and I'm very happy for that. So out of habit, I have used BHP lah. But also, I chose BHP because I'm a little bit familiar with the petrol formulation. Yes. So first of all, I like BHP petrol because of the cleansing properties of the fuel. So what it does is it actually cleans all your fuel lines, and it cleans your valves and internals of the engine. It actually prevents deposits from forming, yeah, and especially on the fuel injectors. The fuel injectors are actually very small. The injection holes are very small, and it's a precision instrument, and if there's any clogging up of the fuel injectors, that will affect the car performance greatly, yeah, quite a bit. So it's like if your throat is stuck, you can't eat properly, yeah? Same with the injector. So the injector is like the throat of the fuel, and if it is stuck, then you can't get enough fuel, and your car will have fuel starvation, and there are many consequences of that. Secondly, it also has friction modifiers. And what do they do? Friction modifiers actually lubricate the parts that it comes in contact with. And yeah, you might say, hey, but that's done by the engine oil. Yes and no, because in places where there is not much engine oil, especially in the combustion chamber, yeah, you know, the place where the fuel goes into the cylinder and then it burns, well, there's very little oil there, and the fuel has to help to lubricate. And for BHP fuel, they have lubricating properties that actually help to prevent wear and tear to the parts that don't get enough oil, yeah, the piston part. Then of course the BHP fuel also has 50 parts per million of sulfur. The old Euro 2M fuel, we had something like 500 parts per million or more in the fuel. Having less sulfur in the fuel also means that you will get less wear and tear, because sulfur becomes acid, and when it's acid in your engine, it starts to wear away the metal parts. And with less sulfur, of course, your wear and tear is less, and your engine will last longer. Besides that, there is also less pollution that's being spewed out through your exhaust. And finally, the formulation of BHP fuels, both 95 and 97, have what you call power characteristics. That is to give you more power for you to get the car moving. Of course, 97 gets a bit more than 95 lah. And but then, even then, the 95 is formulated to give you good power. So like most cars in Malaysia, they are made to run on 95, but if you run on 97, the car gets very happy, you know. It's like if you just eat plain rice and you eat rice with nasi lemak, you know, with the lauk. Well, 97 is the lauk that you put onto the rice lah, and so the car actually runs happier, and most of the time it runs cooler too because of the additional additives. So the BHP additives are pretty good, and I've used them for many years. I've used the fuel for many years. I'm quite happy with it. Okay, now we are stuck in a very bad jam, and we are going very slow, and I even see a broken down truck in front of us with his double signal on. That's probably causing a big jam here. And our fuel consumption is 7.4. Hopefully it clears up a bit. Yeah, this looks like the one that was blocking everybody. Okay, so now just a word on how I'm driving. Yeah, speed limit is 90. I'm driving with very normal throttle, as how a normal person would accelerate. Yeah, not an aggressive driver, because an aggressive driver will floor it. I'm not flooring it because we are on an economy run, testing for fuel consumption. I'm driving it like what a typical driver would. So I'm not being very adventurous. I'm not overtaking anybody unless I absolutely have to. I'm just following the traffic. And that's how I'm driving. Anyway, you can watch on the screen what I'm doing. I have a camera at the back that shoots to the front. I have a camera on my face that can see me talking. And I got a camera on the meter, and you can see the time there. So we have done 11.2 kilometers, and because of the jam, the fuel consumption went up to 7.8 from 7.4 at the start of the jam. Is now 7.8 liters per 100. So we actually wasted a bit of fuel. But now we're going a bit faster. We're going at 79, 80 kilometers per hour, just keeping up with the trend in traffic, yeah? The flow, so to speak. Yes, we are getting close to 90. Sorry. It's a very sleepy kind of job. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. And so it's us for today. Interestingly, we are going faster when the fuel consumption is starting to improve. We are back to 7.6. Oh, we are above the speed limit. Back to 90, please. Thank you. Yeah, it's so hard to hold 90. And looks like I'm going to have to overtake, because my lane is going at 70 plus. Oh, there's another accident in front, and that's another possible cause of the jam. Okay, so when you're driving in traffic and you want to save fuel, one of the tips I can give you is don't go so close to the car in front. Because if you are further away, there are a few benefits. First of all, you don't have to brake when they are braking. You just lift off, and that will save fuel, because you use fuel to build up your speed. And if you have to brake, you are just cutting off that effort and wasting all the energy that you use to build up the speed. So if you drive with anticipation, if you are far enough away from the guy in front, when he brakes, you don't have to brake. And when you think that you're approaching traffic too much, you lift off and maintain the gap. And also it's a lot safer because you don't need to do any emergency brakes. And when you do emergency brakes, you may be very good at reacting, but the guy behind you might be bad at reaction, and then he might end up going into your backside, yeah? So you got to be mindful of the gap, and if you maintain a good gap between yourself and the car in front, generally it works in your favor. Okay, we're going at 93, 91, okay. And we have 7.3 liters per 100, and it looks like it's going to jam again in the front. So I'm lifting off. Oh my goodness! 6.9, 6.8, whoo, whoo, whoo. Fantastic. Who would have thought that the Nissan Serena can do this type of fuel consumption? This is a 2-liter. This MPV is at least 1,600 or 1,500 kilos. I am very, very surprised. Okay, we have done 25 kilometers. So what we'll do is we will make a U-turn and we'll go back towards Petaling Jaya. And technically we should be getting about 50 kilometers by the end of our drive. Yeah, we don't want to bore you with too long a drive. Yeah, 50 kilometers is half of 100, so we should get quite consistent results. And we have 6.8 liters per 100. This is the Saujana Putra exit. Okay, we are at the Saujana Putra exit, and there's a huge jam just after it, after the toll. interesting. Why should there be a jam here? Okay, I'm going to do something very simple. I'm going to miss the jam by making a U-turn here, and we go back through the toll again. Here we go. Yes. So we will re-register at the toll. Okay, at 27.1 kilometers, we are now at 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Fantastic. So is this the typical speed you will drive the Serena S-Hybrid? Well, there are many people who will drive at this speed. Okay, we are heading back towards Shah Alam and Petaling Jaya through the Elite Highway. So if you look at the MPV in front of us, that's Exora. We are going exactly the same speed that he is going. So this is what I call typical speed. We're just following him. 6.7 again. So guys, if you're about to buy a Nissan Serena, this is the type of fuel consumption you can expect to get if you're driving at this speed like this. Yeah. Of course, if you gun it to 150, 160 kilometers per hour, the fuel consumption will get worse. Yeah, that's for sure. And the reason why we're not testing fuel consumption at 150 kilometers per hour is because too many people will protest. And there will be those that say, how can you test at so high a speed? We don't drive so high a speed. So therefore you should test at 110 or 60 or 70. See, there's no right, there's no wrong. What you see is what you get. And we are getting in a jam at 70 kilometers per hour on the way back from KLIA towards Petaling Jaya via the Elite Highway at 4:56 p.m. on a Friday. And we are still following the flow of traffic. I've sped up a little bit. I think I will move to the right-hand lane. Oops. And maybe this lane is a bit faster, but I had to brake. Okay, we are almost at a complete stop at 14 kilometers per hour. So there is heavy traffic, and this is my first fuel consumption test in a heavy traffic situation. Oh, it's going to change my results drastically for the worse. We will see. I have no idea how it's going to affect the consumption. But we are going at 6.7. Okay, we are going at 86 kilometers per hour. We have done 45.2 kilometers, and we are at 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Actually quite remarkable, I would say. And we are catching up with the traffic. 48.9, and it's dropped to 6.9. Excellent. Okay, we are nearing the exit to exit 106, and here is where we will turn off to go back to the BHP station. We should be arriving there in a couple of minutes. Okay, we have 6.9 liters per 100, and we are taking exit 106 Damansara Jaya, Petaling Jaya and Bandar Utama. Yes, we have 6.9, and we've done 51.9, 52 kilometers and we have got 6.8. Oh, see, the jam was actually detrimental, but we have managed to get it a bit down because we had a bit of a distance. That means the actual consumption is lower than 6.8. Anyway, we are heading back to the station and we will pump up the fuel and do a recalculation to reconfirm those results. There will be some variances because the car system only does approximation, yeah. Okay, we are nearly at the BHP station. I think it may hit 7.0 when we get back there. But anyway, we will do a refueling to verify the numbers. And here we are back at the BHP station, exactly where we started, and we have 6.9 and 55.8 kilometers. So we switched off the engine and let's do the fueling up. Right guys, we are back in the BHP station and we are parked in exactly the same spot in the same pump, and we're going to fuel up the car to see how much fuel we used for the distance we traveled. Okay, please begin filling. RON 95. 0. And we go. So this is a capless fuel cap. So like what we did just now, we're going to, it's full, then we click again and it's full, and it's pumping a bit more and it's full, then we let it settle down a bit, then we click again, it's clicked to, okay, it's full already. The fuel started coming out. All right, and we have fueled in 5 liters and 5.027 liters. All right, so let's do the calculation. Okay guys, we came back to the BHP station, pump at the same pump, put the car in the same position, and we went 55.7 kilometers and we used 5.027 liters of fuel. Now there was a little bit of spillage at the end of the fueling, not a lot, maybe 10 or 15 cc's, because we were trying to pump it into the brim, yeah. And so based on that, we did some calculation. So at 55.7 kilometers per liter and 5.027 liters of fuel, it works out to be 11 kilometers per liter. Actually, it's 11.08 kilometers for every liter of fuel. Now, considering that there was a lot of heavy traffic and we were slowed down to a crawl, even to a complete stop in certain places, I think 11.08 kilometers per liter is quite fantastic for this very, very big and heavy Serena S-Hybrid. Anyway, thanks for being with us, and till we meet again in the next video, bye bye.